Hello and welcome to the next e-CENS video to reveal why switching from Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4 requires time and resources. Hi, I'm Holger Tempel, partner at e-CENS, as well as the founder and managing director of e-CENS in Germany. In the last episode, I've talked about the history of Google Analytics and how it all began with Urchin software. In this video, I'm going to talk about the differences when it comes to comparing Universal Analytics with GA4. Please keep in mind that GA4 is still under development and definitely cannot be called a product ready for market. Even though GA4 has a lot of new and helpful features, you will find out that there are many features missing which have become more or less a standard in Universal Analytics. So in short, GA4 cannot be seen as the successor of Universal Analytics, but is a completely new approach to web analytics. Said that, let's take a look at the very obvious differences between Universal Analytics and GA4. And we'll start with one of the differences that immediately catches the eye, the admin section, and therefore the structural hierarchy of Google Analytics. So when we open the admin section of Universal Analytics, the account structure is divided into account, property, and view. While in GA4, account structure only consists of account and property. Quite obvious, there are no views available in the GA4 hierarchy. So let's have a more detailed look at the differences in the GA account structure. Like already mentioned, in Universal Analytics the hierarchy is account, property, and view, while the GA4 structure consists of account and property only. When the GA account is linked to a Google Marketing Platform organization with an active 360 order, there's the possibility to create a so-called Rollup Property for both Universal Analytics and GA4. This property's purpose is to contain data from two or more properties and therefore to consolidate the data. One thing regarding this to also keep in mind is that the use of Rollup properties will cause additional costs for data. If you are not familiar with the approach of Rollup properties or how to work around this when you're not a 360 customer, simply contact us at e-CENS and we'll show you the how and the why. Okay, and the last thing to mention about the GA4 account structure is that Google tries to compensate the lack of views in GA4 with an approach of what they call a subproperty. So a subproperty shall give you the flexibility of creating data collections for special purposes. But a drawback that comes along with subproperties is that this is a GA360 feature only. Furthermore, like Rollup properties, the use of subproperties will also cause additional costs for data. And this is quite painful since views enable you to do so many useful things for free. For most of you who are dealing with Universal Analytics, it's already super clear, but here's a little recap for those who have just started with Universal Analytics. So to better understand what a view in Universal Analytics is used for and why you're most likely going to miss it, we need to have a closer look at its capabilities. First and foremost, views allow you to limit access to data for users. This means that you determine who gets access to which data. Secondly, views allow you to also filter the data according to your needs. For instance, you want to analyze visitors' behavior coming from a particular campaign or source or country, etc. One of the most underestimated features is the ability to create up to 20 goals per view and therefore exceed the limit of 30 conversions provided by GA4 by far. Remember, you can set up to 25 views. This multiplied by 20 goals will result in 500 goals theoretically. And last but not least, you can simply manage and share your personal assets, like for instance segments, attribution models, custom channel groupings, saved reports, and many more. That being said, it became a best practice for Universal Analytics to always create one property per domain with at least 3 or more views. And in the first view, you should always collect unmodified data. This is what we call the master view. Each subsequent view then should collect data that is specific to the type of analysis. For example, data without the company's own traffic to make sure the data evaluation will not be blurred by traffic coming from the employees. Or an example, data that is collected with Google Ads so that an external agency would be able to measure the real success of Google Ads only. And last but not least, a view should always be set up for testing purposes in order to test the impact of filters, which will be applied later to the production views. And this approach should be kept in mind for any further property and view. Unfortunately, all of this is not possible with GA4, at least not with the free version of GA4. And even though if you already have an active 360 order and you would be able to create subproperties, it means you need to calculate additional costs for each and every subproperty. Now you know the differences between Universal Analytics and GA4 regarding account structure. And you now can decide what you might need to work around or compensate, and hopefully also how to do so. If not, please don't hesitate to contact us at e-CENS. And always keep in mind, experience cannot be learned, it must be gathered. Therefore, rely on the expert's experience only.